Down and Dirty. Tips and tricks for keeping your plane out of the shop. Starring Steve's Dirty Hands. Today, slide back that canopy on your 1700mm P51, Part 2. Alright, so at this point we have to take off this part because we got to glue these bits on and they go inside there. It's a lot easier to do it. We just put this on for placement. We're going to mark on the bottom where the back of the canopy was. And now we can remove this was temporarily put on. And let's get these pieces in. So this one goes on this side like this. So we're going to make sure that we have this in place, and then we're going to glue it against this bracket with a dot of hot glue, and when that sets we're going to fill in behind it with some more hot glue and plug the plug into it, and then just make sure everything's lined up and press it back against this bracket here. Okay, and now that that bracket is glued on there, I can fill in that back corner with hot glue as long as I don't get it where the prong goes, and just hold it at an angle like this. And as it dries, I just make sure that I have cleared my prong hole.
Okay, there's lots of different ways to cut plastic, but one of the best ones is with scissors, because when you're trying to cut through this with a knife, you're gonna go all over the place undoubtedly, and at least you'll get close with these babies. We're cutting the back off here, and we're not gonna use this piece anymore. So first I'm gonna make a cut that's a little wide of what I need so that it's ready to be trimmed to the piece that I really need. And stay away from the silver, hi-ho. So this is gonna get glued back on here, and it's going to be pretty much down all the way on the front and up a tiny bit right here at the back, just pretty much flush with the bottom. In the back part that we're moving, we're also going to cut up to the front curve here and try to leave that so that these theoretically interlock on the inside. If it's not going to fit, we'll do some trimming. Here's the back part we need from this side, so we're going to cut the front off, same thing, in front of the silver metal part, metal in quotation marks, leaving the entire silver frame in front of the glass bubble. So this is going to slide, and then it's going to come forward and interlock on the inside of this piece like that. Cool, huh? We have to neutralize this glue. What we're going to do is put a piece of clear tape around the inside on top of the glue here, rather than mess with the glue, because this stuff is sticky enough and it's pretty much stuck on there, and we don't want to wreck this. Now let's trim this down. We're going to start off by leaving the entire round edge on this, just trimming off the clear part. These are some really heavy-duty snip type scissors. They're got really sharp, they work really well, and that's what you kind of want to use on this. Like this. There's that. A nice neat little cut. So that's going to be my front side. I'm probably going to want to trim off just a little bit more there, and I'll probably use some kind of sander to do it. And then we have our back part, and we're going to want to do the same thing. Cut off right up to the front of the silver part. Cut all the clear part off, leave the silver part. As soon as we round that corner, things start to get tenuous. All right, and there's the back part. So now we want to sand this down to be smooth. If you don't have a disc sander, go get one. Let's try this one. Make sure you're on the disc where it's traveling linearly down the thing that you're sanding. Otherwise it'll catch like that or like that. And these are going to fit together ever so nicely. We just have to make sure that our guides are set up so that they're at the correct height for this baby to slide inside this one. As you may be able to see from the side view, when we tuck this piece under this piece, these sides will extend down a little further on the back one that's tucked under the front one. So either we're going to trim these sides to match, or just make sure that they come down like that when the installation is done. And if you have some flat black paint, now's the time to put it on all these edges so that when they're seen with your new sliding canopy, they all look good. If you don't have some flat black paint, now's a good time to go out and get some. There we go. Now, we're going to put a piece of cardboard on here. and make a template. And what we're going to do is mark the angle of these sides right here where this cardboard crosses behind this box. Angle and the placement, as a matter of fact. And then we'll mark the other side. In other words, we're right at the back of this square lump, the first radio lump. There's the angle of the sides where it meets this piece of cardboard where the crosses behind this box. And what we need to do is to make a piece that's a bracket that's going to go on the inside and going to be this angle and end up that size right there where it meets this. And we put said template. This is for a bracket for the back of the P51. So I'm using some black HDPE here. We also have a kit for this that you can purchase at Killer Planes. And what we're going to do is knife through this template into the HDPE. So some of these are cuts and some of these are folds, but whatever is marked on the template, I have to cut right through the template and into the plastique. And then the ones that are marked fold on the template, we fold. And the ones that are marked cut, we cut right through. I believe that's everything. Okay, and we have our little mini cutting board here for doing stuff like this. And the same on this end. It's pretty easy stuff to cut, actually. Alright, these get folded, so we're going to cut this fold halfway, and then fold it. Cut the fold, and cut through. And we cut through and cut the folds. 1, 2, 4, the long one. This folds down, and this folds into a bracket. Like this. Alright. Okay, we need to do a little sanding here and there so that these pieces fit together better, but this is our bracket. We hot glue all these joints, so it's going to sit on this deck and slide back. So in order to do that, we need to cut down the height of this second radio box. Now we're going to cut the middle out of this in a nice, neat job. Alright, so now I have a lower radio and I glue that back in place. The bracket fits, so let's glue it all together. Here we are. The bracket will go in here and the canopy will fasten to the bracket. And that way when you slide it back, it'll keep from falling in the rear because this is kind of a big heavy canopy. So I'm going to Dremel all those big fat corners off. And if you want some uniformity, you can paint this baby flat black on the inside. It'll be a whole lot less noticeable. So we're going to do that.